Hello, welcome in to another episode of Across America Good News Edition. My name is Chip Brewster. I'm a national digital host with Nexstar Media, and Nexstar Media is the company behind more than 115 stations across America. In fact, where you're watching this program, that's a Nexstar station. So when I say that we truly get our stories from across America, I really mean it, because we have got stations coast to coast, and those local journalists are the ones who go out, find these unique local stories that I am able to go through and kind of create this show with. What's really cool about this show, for those that have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you're new here, the stories are so local that most of the time you would not have heard of it unless you were living in that area and watching that station. Well, thus, this show comes to life, and we all get to see some really cool local feature reporting journalism all in one spot. It's a great way for me to end my work week anyway. Speaking of ending my work week, today is March 6th, Friday the 6th. So all of these stories are happening from the week prior. What are some of the stories that we're going to talk about today? A pair of identical twins pursuing identical careers. A treasure hunt that is on Treasure Hunters. You're going to want to pay attention to that one. Have you heard of the legendary meat shower? Me neither. A man who is a competitive eater tries to use his talent to help his community. Another man who survived cancer tries his hand at a different skill. And that last one was a basketball game that is built around inclusivity. Before we get to those stories, though, I mentioned that I'm recording this on Friday, March 6th. The Olympics happened not that long ago. Well, today, opening ceremony for the Paralympics. So this first story is about a powerlifting Paralympian who's also got a Purple Heart. And it comes from our station in Birmingham, Alabama, WIAT.
My mother left when I was 5. My father went to prison when I was 10. My sister and I grew up in an orphanage.
But that beginning isn't the most captivating, the Bobby Body story. The number 3 lifter in the world in his class in para-powerlifting was able-bodied until he was injured serving his country.
This is benefits of Iraq. I served in the Marine Corps in the 90s, and then I lived in Southern California, and then after 9/11 happened, I rejoined the military, but ended up joining the Army, and then got deployed to Iraq, and then in February 2006 is when I got hit by a roadside IED bomb.
The Purple Heart winner had 21 surgeries over the years on his left leg alone. He finally had to lose it through amputation while gaining an opportunity.
In the beginning, I was like, everything's over. I can't play sports anymore. What can I do? And one day after one of my surgical procedures, even after becoming an amputee, I was in the gym bench pressing, and they said, for someone that doesn't have a leg drive, you lift pretty good weight. You should consider powerlifting.
Whoa, nice job. Go hit the ceiling, man.
So it's almost like I don't want to say a blessing, but it's like a blessing in disguise of, that I got injured, and then I ended up, on the Paralympic stage, and because I got to compete in Paris in 2024, my wife and I talked about, like, if I never got injured, I wouldn't have been in Paris. So we have to look at it that way. And I've been in several commercials, magazines, telling my story and stuff like that. And it's been fun.
And I'm glad that he got to tell his story here on Across America Good News Edition. See, that's one of those stories that I would not have heard of. I wouldn't have learned about him, his history, that he's the number 3 in his class in the world, and that he is more than likely, they didn't say it there, but we said Paralympian, more than likely he's competing at the games. So cool story, again, out of our Birmingham, Alabama station. The next story I'm going to bring you is one from our station in New York City, WPIX, and it's about a basketball game. This is not your normal basketball game because it comes from a different place. And when I say place, not only am I thinking about the Heart, but I'm thinking about the school that it takes place at.
Today is bigger than just basketball.
Wide open, 2 for D! The Phoenix Center is a private school for students with disabilities.
It was Nutley and Phoenix versus Nutley and Phoenix.
We kind of mixed our teams together, a little March Madness.
This is the best basketball day ever.
2 for Josh!
It was crazy. We had every single class, all 16 of our classrooms were down here. I cheer about my subway from, whoa, yeah!
Puts it up! 2 for D! Having the energy of the crowd, having their parents come observe them.
kids score, they're really, really happy, you know. All the fans in the stands give a nice cheer, you know, the kids on the sideline are cheering.
Yeah, it's something we look forward to. Have a great day.
They practice all year long basketball. It's like to have that game experience what a high school game might feel like if they were in a typical high school.
Inclusion for our kids. They get to work with people outside of the community, play basketball, which they all very much enjoy. Yeah, a lot of fun playing basketball and taking turns for the team.
We just want to see the kids happy. You know, as long as they have a smile on their face and they're having fun, that's what's most important.
3, 2, 1.
When they make a basket, they go crazy. They're having a great time. They're having the time of their life. They're cheering and jump up and down. It just makes my heart warm.
I love that we could get a 6-7 in there. I try, for those that watch the show enough, to get an animal story in every time. Maybe I should change that up and go for a 6-7 story every time. I'm just joking. Please don't change the, I would say channel, but these aren't actually like channels, are they? Please don't go away. We've got more good stories, including this next one. So this is coming from our station KLBK in Lubbock, Texas. Is a man who is a cancer survivor who's never before written a story in his life, and yet he was drawn to write a book which is helping others and leaving a smile on young faces.
Jonah is a big, handsome kitty.
Behind the story of a man and his cat is the life of James Kipkak, otherwise known as Jonah's butler.
I've never written a book. I don't even like to read them most of the time. But God said, you're going to write a book about your cat.
Kipkak is a cancer survivor who also battles with PTSD.
Jonah loves to sleep at night right next to his butler.
All with Jonah by his side.
Because Jonah is more than just a kitty. He's a special helper kitty for his butler.
After he completed his first treatment, he actually brought, I want to say like 10 or 15 signed books and put each person's name in it.
Rebecca Morrow is a social worker at the Joe Arrington Center in Covenant.
And, you know, cancer is not just their only story. They do so many other things in their life. We really just want to honor the dignity and the worth of a person. And so, you know, if we do see a patient struggling, we really try to see, you know, what would lift their spirits, what would just make them feel honored and important and seen.
And Kipkak tells this story.
Sometimes at night, Jonah's butler feels bad and makes noises in his sleep because he hurts. Jonah always comes to the rescue.
In hopes of his message being told.
He is a beloved cat to so many people, and it's just a book. Just seeing the kids, the looks on their face, and that they're truly responded well. They truly wanted a book, and I pray that that'll be followed up by them inquiring more about Jesus. Because Jesus made sure his butler got Jonah and no other kitty.
My favorite part of that has to be the angle that the gentleman is the cat's butler. I'm sure through the cat's eyes that is 100% accurate. As an owner of 2 cats, sometimes I also feel like a cat's butler, a book that I'm certainly interested in reading as well. We have got more of those positive stories from our local journalists when we come back, but I've got to take a really short break. So more stories on the other side of this. The one that's coming up after this, just so you know, is those identical twins pursuing identical careers. Stick around. We are back. See, that was pretty short, right? You just get through those little breaks with me and boom, we pop back and we talk about the next stories. I told you what it was going to be beforehand. It's those twins, these identical twins. Now this story sets up where we didn't actually know that's what we were witnessing. So I've already given you a little bit more information than the typical viewer would see, but it's such a great story. And it's coming to us from our station, WGN in Chicago, Illinois.
What size shoe you wear? 14s?
Principal Crockett.
Picture day is the 5th of March. Go in class.
Is in the middle of another busy day at Wendell Smith Elementary School.
It's a nice Wendell Smith hoodie.
On Chicago's far south side. From working at his desk.
You log in through your CPS email.
To visiting students at theirs. He's rolling
Go! Yeah! Switch!
with the punches.
Switch!
At the same time, 18 miles away, Principal Crockett is also busy running Chalmers Elementary School on the west side. He's observing students from the court.
I'll think about it.
To the cafeteria.
What time you get to school today?
Like at 8:00.
To the classroom.
Did you show Ms. Bingham your work?
How is it possible for a principal to be in two schools at once?
You seeing double.
Turns out, great minds think alike. And in this case, they also look alike.
It's pretty cool to see kids have a sense of like enjoyment and a shock, when they see us.
Identical twin brothers Romian and Teron Crockett are both Chicago Public Schools principals.
It was crazy. Like, I was shocked. I didn't even know who was who. They talked the same and looked the same.
Which comes as a surprise.
I was shocked because I didn't even know he had a twin. So when I saw that, I'm like, yo, what?
To their own students.
They look the same, they got the same hair, they sound the same, they dress the same.
Before they were a pair of principals, they were a couple of kids growing up on the west side.
We dressed the same. Any pictures that we look back in the earlier years, we were identical to the T, from the socks to the shirt, to the shorts, to the pants. So I think my mother and father, mainly my mom, made sure that we were like dressed alike.
Their father worked as a carpenter. Their mother was a city government clerk. Both parents emphasized education and attendance.
I mean, I just learned that hard work pays off.
So the twins both went to NIU, then UIC, to get their PhDs.
We both pledged the same fraternity, we were on the same line, graduated from the same undergrad, got doctorates from the same school. Taught in the same district. He wasn't in education, he followed behind me. So everything is like he's following behind me.
Not quite everything. His brother was actually born first.
6 minutes. 6 minutes. 6 minutes older, man.
The two talk every day, sharing advice on how to enhance learning, resulting in ideas at both schools, like chicken coops and curiosity classrooms.
Yeah, we talk all the time. I'm a true believer, like if it's something that is at his school, I believe that my kids should benefit from it here.
40, 50.
The 45-year-olds are close.
Healthy competition.
But they are also competitive.
We carry some of the same interests in things like sneakers. And mine just, they're a step better than his.
They have similar philosophies.
We want to ensure that they do better than we did. I think we're very passionate and alike in that sense. One more hour.
But different personalities.
I am a little bit more social. I'm a little bit more playful. Yeah! He does the social media and things like that, things that I'm not necessarily as comfortable with doing.
Twin principals.
Oh! Hi, boy!
Committed to teaching the children of Chicago.
This a twin?
A thing or two.
I think it's great for the city. I think it's great for where we come from, things that we overcame. And what y'all working on? Definitely having two younger, black male twins, in the district itself is extremely unique, and it's extremely beneficial.
Teron and Romian Crockett are two of Chicago's very own.
So that's a story at the end slate there that WGN has been doing, featuring profiles, individuals, those at the station, those in the community, to talk about Chicago's very own. So a cool enough story, though, that I wanted to share it here. Again, local, national, and you get to learn about it right along with me. We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, our final three stories, which includes that treasure hunt. This is a legitimate treasure hunt, by the way. If you are looking to make some serious cash, then you want to stay tuned and possibly start planning a trip to Ohio. You'll see what I mean when we come back. Did I get you interested with the treasure hunt story tease? Good. That's not the one I'm going to show you right now, though. That's coming up. I promise. I promise. First, a story out of our station WLNS in Lansing, Michigan. You've heard of competitive eaters, right? Those who can eat 20 hot dogs in 2 minutes, like super fast, or those that go more for the marathon? Quantity, how much can they put in their body before they can't put anything else? So one of those guys, a competitive eater, is trying to use that talent, that skill that he's developed over the years to help local restaurants, not just by like eating at the restaurants, but helping to promote them. Check out this story.
Plate after plate, stop after stop, the challenge keeps growing. Kyle Kaneda is now midway through his downtown Jackson food tour, and it's more than just a big meal, it's about building momentum for local businesses.
We're going.
9 restaurants, 3 hours, and 1 very determined eater. This month's Tuesday 10s event welcomed competitive eater Kyle Haney, and he says this food tour feels like lunch and more like a marathon.
I would equate it to almost like finishing a marathon. Like it's a totally different sport than running a fast sprint, right? And this would be pretty much my first time ever doing like the long distance, long marathon. So it'd definitely be a feat for me, for sure.
Executive Director of the Jackson DDA, Beth Kuiper, says they hope to draw people in that work in downtown during lunchtime. She says dozens of businesses are now on board, and the response has been strong.
It's a goal that's set up for the daytime worker and anyone who just needs to power and fuel themselves for the rest of the day at a very reasonable price. In addition to that, on the other side, it's a great small business support tool.
Messy, but finished.
And after a few stops, the pace starts to shift and the pressure starts to build. Haney says this challenge isn't just personal, it's about showing up for Jackson.
There's definitely like an added pressure. I want to succeed for the city of Jackson. Again, I have ties here too, so it's kind of close to my heart, and I want to put on a good show for Jackson, for sure.
And if you missed Kyle today, Kuiper says he will do round 2 of the downtown restaurants on April 7th, and the DDA encourages all interested foodies to come out and attend. Here for you in Jackson, Sean Graney, 6 News.
Thanks, Sean. Do you think you could keep up with Kyle? Well, there you go. You got a date that you can go and try it out, or maybe even just try his food circuit out completely on your own. Next story coming from our station in Lexington, Kentucky, WDKY. This is the one this week where when I first, where I find these stories, first it's text. It tells me where it's coming from, what we call a slug, what the like title or topic of the story is. And I was like, celebrating 150 years of a meat shower. And intrigued immediately. So I clicked on it. I watched this story, and guys, I would have never heard of this if it weren't for this job in this show. And so I bring to you a story about a meat shower.
It's been 150 years, so no one who actually saw it is still here to tell the tale. But a weather phenomenon in Bath County has stood the test of time.
It is very strange, but kind of cool.
I think it's pretty ludicrous. On a clear, cloudless March day in 1876, meat rained from the sky near Olympia Springs. For about 2 minutes, chunks of flesh fell onto the farm belonging to a Mr. and Mrs. Crouch.
But it's basically this area. She asked her grandson who was with her, what was that, when she heard something hit the ground. He looked up and said, it's snowing. And then she looked up and saw that it wasn't snow at all, but meat.
Some say it was horse meat, others swear it was bear or even venison.
All of those could be true, because probably what it resulted from is a flock of vultures flying overhead, vomiting.
A piece of that mystery meat has been preserved and is being kept at Transylvania University, but it was brought out for the masses to see on Saturday for a festival commemorating the 150-year anniversary of this so-called meat shower.
I couldn't believe this is actually a thing, so we live in Winchester, and I thought we gotta go. We gotta go see what this is actually all about.
To honor such an unusual event in history, the festival needed to meet the occasion, complete with a mystery meat chili cook-off, a hot dog eating contest, and even a bologna rolling contest.
I think that's how communities are built, right? It's like the strange thing about your town that brings you all together for any reason, really.
Now, a century and a half later, history repeated itself and meat fell from the sky in Bath County once again. But this time, we know where it came from.
More than 1,800 pieces of individually wrapped beef were dropped out of an airplane onto a crowd anxiously waiting below. As the beef began to fall, it wasn't confusion on their faces. This time, it was smiles, as people scrambled to collect the pieces, celebrating a moment in history that has kept people talking for 150 years, and may just keep them talking for 150 more. In Owingsville, Jace Obardo, Fox 56 News.
I can't with that story. That's a real thing. And I love too that the people they're interviewing, they're like, this is ludicrous. The one lady's like, no way was this real. I had to come check this out for myself. And the explanation, the most likely explanation, that it was vultures vomiting as they flew over this farm, and people are still talking about it 150 years later. Wild. There's another show I do for Nexstar called We Witness, where we take a look back at historic events caught on camera. That's the main difference. But man, that would be one for the ages if that was even a possibility. Hey, treasure hunters, you've been waiting patiently. I appreciate that. It is our final story of the show, and it is all about one of those, you've probably heard of stuff like this in the news before, where some rich billionaire hides a gold bar and releases a clue or whatever. Okay, a town is taking that seriously and making their own version of it that you can take part in. Here are the details.
Tuesdays are slow days for us. I mean, it's slow for the town, and today's just been hectic. The store's been filled, people have been coming in.
Newton Falls is buzzing Tuesday as a treasure hunt unlike any other officially begins.
There's so many things that you guys have already done for the community that have been such a huge benefit.
Fieldview Acres mercantile store owner Tom Colosimo came up with the idea after watching a TikTok about a treasure hunt out west. And he knew he could do the same for Newton Falls.
And the light just clicked or went off or on. And I said, I can do this for Newton Falls because the businesses have been struggling here. It's just been slow for years, and we're looking for a way to attract people to town.
What started as a $1,000 idea has grown into a prize pool of nearly $30,000. Thanks to contributions from over 50 local sponsors, including Charchone Chevrolet of Garrettsville.
Yeah, so Tom came to us, I think the day after it got into his brain, and he told us the story and what he was thinking about doing, and we couldn't be more excited to jump on as his first sponsor and his biggest sponsor.
Clues will be released every 2 weeks until the treasure is found, with a total of 10 clues, keeping hunters busy through the summer.
Are you ready for the next step in the treasure hunt?
The first clue went out at noon Tuesday online.
Part of the excitement if people don't know exactly what to expect.
And Councilman Brian Kropp says it's a tough one.
This isn't going to be something easy. This is going to be something that people are going to have to commit and a little bit more dedicated to as far as hunting for the treasure.
The hunt isn't just about the prize. Historic landmarks, waterfalls, and local shops are all a part of the journey, drawing attention to a community eager for visitors.
Colosimo made sure the clue is challenging enough that even AI won't be able to solve it for you.
The support's been overwhelming, and we're still collecting sponsors until the treasure is found. So who knows how high this pot will get.
For Newton Falls, the hunt is more than gold and jewelry. It's a celebration of the town, and for those willing to solve the clues, it might just pay off in more ways than one.
If you haven't been to Newton Falls, the bridges out here are amazing. It's just a sight to see. So bringing people to our communities, bringing people together.
In Newton Falls, KIARA Patterson, Fox 8 News.
There you go. First clue is out. New clue up to 10 every 2 weeks. Start planning those trips now. Maybe someone will find it. Maybe someone watching this will find it. If that's the case, please find me and let me know that that was what happened. And for anyone out there that is sitting here watching this and they're Googling where Newton Falls is and you're planning that trip, I wish you the best of luck. That is going to do it for this week's episode of Across America Good News Edition. Keeping this thing going. Make sure you tune back in to your local Nexstar station app, wherever it is you're watching, to continue on the ride with me. Until that next show, I'm Chip Brewster. Take care, everybody.